Everybody says it all the time. College football is changing, but if you want change, then you are counting down the days to the kickoff of the 2024 college football season. I'm going to talk a lot about the 2024 season on this channel throughout this offseason, but the first thing I want to focus on in terms of that season is realignment. Big-time programs making big-time moves to big conferences. Are USC and UCLA going to have a better time in the Big Ten than Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC? It's a great time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Big Ten football content all off season long. Always crush that like button to spread the word of Big Ten TED to the masses. A lot of people for a lot of years are going to be comparing USC, UCLA, Texas, and Oklahoma. They're all jumping conferences. They're all making big-time conference upgrades in the exact same season. So that's what this video is for, to break down who I think is going to have the better time in their respective conferences. The first thing I want to take a look at for all four of these programs, what they're doing well, they are preparing for their moves to the Big Ten and the SEC respectively. It's not just saying, well, we're still recruiting, we're still playing at a Pac-12 or a Big 12 type of level. No, especially when it comes to recruiting, all four of these teams are building for the future. All four of these teams are stepping up and recruiting at a big boy level of play. Like you look at Texas and Oklahoma, they're number 3 and number 4 in the SEC right now in recruiting, which also means they're number 3 and number 4 in the nation in recruiting behind Alabama and Georgia for that 2023 class. They're bringing in a lot of talent, high 5 stars, high 4-star level of talent, transfer portal stuff. They're bringing in young guys to build their program so when they get to the SEC, they're not going 6 and 6 and 7 and 5. You can say the same for USC and UCLA. I'm going to maybe talk more about UCLA than USC because we expect USC to be a good football program, right? We expect them to be the Kings of LA and the Kings of California and the Cardinal and Gold and the Coliseum. Like, they have the history. But when you look at UCLA, they don't have as much as USC and a lot of other programs in the Big Ten in terms of football history. Like, you look at UCLA and what Chip Kelly did, going out and going across the country and not only grabbing, but flipping Dante Moore to come to UCLA in the Big Ten Conference. Like, you look at some of the best quarterbacks that year in the Big Ten, or overall, and I should say in the country in 2023, where they're going to school, right? They're going to Texas, they're going to Tennessee, they're going to USC, they're going to schools that have proven to be good programs on the field, that have proven to be big-time programs. And then you look at Dante Moore, one of the best of all of them. He has the potential to be the best out of all the quarterbacks in this class, and he's going to UCLA. Like, I think that alone says something in itself in the steps up that UCLA is taking. UCLA is taking big-time steps in the transfer portal as well. Like, and then USC with the talent and recruiting. Like, look at what they just did in the transfer portal this last year. Caleb Williams, Heisman Trophy winner. You've got a great transition at quarterback. You're probably going to go from Caleb Williams to Malachi Nelson. This is a team that is sticking with the Lincoln Riley quarterback train. They are moving it along from the Big 12 to the Pac-12 and now to the Big 10. USC is recruiting once again at a top 10, top 8, that type of level, and that's exactly where they need to be in the Big 10. They're slotting in. Like, when I look at USC going right into the Big 10, they're a top 4 program. They're right there with all the Ohio States, the Michigans, and the Penn States of the world. USC is going to fit in right there. I don't not quite know where UCLA really fits into the conversation of the Big Ten, but you know what? We are definitely going to find out. I think one thing that really stands out when comparing these programs is the adjustments that need to be made when they move to these conferences. Okay, when I look at Texas and I look at Oklahoma, I'm not sure that there's big philosophy changes in terms of being successful in the SEC. Like, you look at the way the SEC is going, like, look at Alabama and Bryce Young, and even going back to their Mac Jones, that 2020 team with Devontae Smith. Like, the SEC is throwing it around. Now, they're still playing pretty good defense, But this is a conference that is opening up right now. Texas and Oklahoma, they are used to opening it up in the Big 12 conference, and the Big 12 has gotten better defensively. I really think the adjustments that Texas and Oklahoma need to make is they need better personnel. They need to get bigger, faster, and stronger. Like, I don't think they need to divert, I should say, too much from their philosophies that they had in the Big 12. They just need to get better players. But when I look at USC and UCLA in the Big Ten Conference right now, they need philosophy changes. Like, if you trot out last year's USC team into last year's Big Ten, there are physical teams that would have eaten up the Trojans. Like, you look at a defense like an Iowa. Hell, you even look at a defense like a Minnesota. You look at a defense like a Wisconsin that came on at the second half of last season. I haven't even talked about East Division teams yet. Like, USC can put it up with anybody. They can put up points. Same kind of with UCLA, but definitely USC. They were soft. And if there's one thing you can't be in the Big Ten is soft. Ask the Ohio State Buckeyes, a team that puts up points and has all kind of talent on the perimeter and quarterback and running back. But when it comes to the trenches, and when it comes to that game against Michigan, and when it comes to being tough, they haven't been able to do it. You need to be tough on the lines and in the trenches to win in the Big Ten Conference. If USC and UCLA don't get tough, I think they're going to have a hard time adjusting to the Big Ten. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to go 6-6 or 7-5, but I'm just saying it's going to be a tough adjustment. They need to adjust that style of play. Look, you're going to have a Wisconsin team here that's probably going to throw it around, but Luke Fickell still wants to develop a tough team. You need balanced football teams to win in the Big Ten. You just can't throw it around, expect to score 50 points and win football games. This ain't the Pac-12 anymore, is the point that I'm trying to make. Both teams, USC, UCLA, Texas, and Oklahoma, are setting themselves up for success in their respective conferences. I might side with Texas and Oklahoma to have a better time just because the both of them are name brands and are going to be able to recruit at a name brand level. I just don't know how much success the UCLA Bruins can sustain. I know USC is going to be a top team. I know they're going to take that Southern California treasure trove of a recruiting market and they're going to do great things. I just don't know. I think UCLA right now, I think a lot of the Big Ten teams also look at them that way. Like, you look at what they've done recruiting-wise and the talent they're bringing in. They're kind of the great unknown right now of the Big Ten Conference as we approach 2024. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you kind of agree with me thinking that maybe Texas and Oklahoma, although that's a really tough league, might have a little bit of a better chance for success than the combination of USC and UCLA in the Big Ten Conference? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.